Hell yeah, this is Sheamus, the WWE Champion, and you're watching Game On. All right, fella?
All right, no need to be aggressive. Who invited him?
That'd be my bad, I'll explain later. Coming up!
Oh, I'm very excited.
Expert gaming insight from wrestlers.
Unplug the console.
Expert gaming insight from filmmakers.
And Michael Cera admits to hate crimes against short people.
I've kicked a toddler.
First though, last week, of course, saw Gamescom take place in Germany, and the gaming news started coming faster than you can say Hallo, willkommen auf Game On.
What was that?
That was hello, welcome to Game On in German.
Huh.
There are men who struggle against destiny.
Dragon Age 2 made a particularly strong appearance at the conference. The fantasy RPG now has a release date.
Hooray! The bloodbath will begin on the 11th of March 2011, and to celebrate, EA has given us this brand new trailer.
It's pre-rendered, so not reflective of how the final game will look, but it does at least give us a rough indication of the character direction and the ambition of the game.
You'll be playing as Hawk, a refugee who rises to fame and power over the 10 years spanning the game. The brief Call of Duty-style flashback gives hints as to the start of your tale and the enemies you'll be facing along the way, before Hawk summons a massive pair of hands from nowhere and rips this poor fella to shreds.
Hang on, weren't those the hands in Super Smash Bros?
No. Epic as the visual clues are, our favourite part of the trailer has to be the choral music set to a metal background. Not because it's good, but because they haven't brought back Marilyn Manson like they did for the first game's trailer.
Yeah, thank God, that was a nightmare to work with.
Awful.
Anyway, Dragon Age 2 looks promising, but we're still reserving judgment until we see something the actual game engine has produced. We'll be breaking it down as soon as we do.
Unless Marilyn Manson makes a comeback, in which case we'll be sending a strongly worded letter to EA instead.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, I might.
Well, don't get your typewriter out just yet, because that's not all they brought to the party. Yep, EA continued to come out swinging at Gamescom, literally, as they announced Kinect support for upcoming game Huppa Atta de Hatuga Pu'a.
What?
Huppa Atta de Hatuga Pu'a.
Was that? Well, that's not a game.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the game part 1.
Very good.
Huppa Atta de Hatuga Pu'a.
I like it. Yep, Harry will be returning to Hogwarts and consoles this autumn.
No, he won't.
What? You just said about the
No, I mean in the 7th book, it doesn't actually take place in Hogwarts at all.
Geek! Anyway, the Xbox 360 version, we're told, will be Kinect supported, putting the power of Harry's wand directly into your hands. Or will it?
Wand.
Yeah, quite. Anyway, these pictures released alongside the Kinect announcement show some people enjoying the game in a totally natural, non-posed manner.
They show the game mimicking the player's movements, but all the same, there's something missing.
Yeah, none of the people in the shots are holding wands, which has left us wondering whatever happened to the scan feature Microsoft showed in the first Kinect trailer back when it was called Project Natal.
Has it simply been axed, or did EA want to avoid giving the impression you'll need a peripheral wand to play the game?
To be honest, both answers seem likely. The original patent application for Kinect, released to the public this month, showed Kinect could use its depth-sensitive camera to recognise sign language, really opening up the possibilities of the gadget.
Microsoft have since confirmed Kinect won't be supporting sign language after all, apparently down to the choice of camera. Kinect was originally planned to have cameras with a high enough resolution to support sign language recognition, but they were then downgraded in a cost-saving move.
It's all a bit boring, but does this mean the scan function has disappeared from the gadget as well? There's been no official word as yet, but either way, the little black box won't be scanning your wand anytime soon.
That said, there is nothing to stop you holding a twig while you play, if you're so inclined.
Anything kind of wand-shaped. Bit weird, though, holding a twig.
Oh, supremely weird.
Yeah.
Next up on Game On, we've got some exclusive...
Whoa. Have you been using fake tan?
No.
Saint-Tropez. You look weirdly kind of normal. You're not quite as vampish, emo, translucent as you kind of normally are.
Thanks, I guess. That'll be my sun-kissed glow. Last week I flew out to Los Angeles to preview Smackdown Vs Raw 2011.
What? You said you had a dentist appointment.
A 4-day dentist appointment. How gullible are you? So I'm here at Loft 7, an exclusive penthouse with some truly beautiful panoramic views of LA. And I couldn't give a toss. I'd rather sit in a darkened room playing a video game and talking to wrestlers.
I'm really excited. I'm looking at the graphics, and I didn't know it was a video game at first. I was like, oh, they got one of our matches. Oh no, it's a video game. Okay.
The realism in the game is unbelievable. It looks like a video, like movies.
I think it's phenomenal. I think that how far it just shows how far gaming has gone. I mean, that looks like I'm watching TV right now.
Okay, so they may seem a little biased, but if there's one thing you can say about Smackdown vs Raw 2011, it's that the character models look great. The detail is astonishing, almost to a fault. It sets the bar for the rest of the game, making us scrutinise the handling and animations all the more.
Live it.
Luckily though, those areas still largely hold up. Smackdown vs Raw 2011 uses the same engine the last few have, which crafts an experience bordering on the overly familiar. Overall though, THQ have still got you in the sweet spot. The animations are pretty slick and the gameplay still holds water, largely thanks to the newly overhauled physics engine. I won't get bogged down in the boring technical bits, mostly because I don't understand them, but basically the new physics engine means tables, chairs and ladders all behave more realistically. Whereas before you had to be pretty precisely aligned, now it's practically a challenge not to send someone through an inch of MDF, adding a good deal of realism to the experience. TLC matches can still be a little hard to navigate, but all in all it's a big improvement. On top of the physics engine, you can now create your own finisher from the corner position, adding depth to an already popular feature. Around 500 animations have been added to the game as a result, allowing you to string up to 10 together to make some truly ridiculous signature moves. Apart from that though, there have been no real additions to the gameplay, making it largely the same core experience of the last one. The main body of the new material is in support for the game, like new or improved modes, as I found out from the devs.
Road to WrestleMania, we've added this backstage roaming environment that allows you to freely roam around the environment. You run into WWE superstars, you can progress through the stories by interacting with them. Sometimes they want to come up and talk trash to you. Sometimes you can break into an impromptu backstage brawl, or other times maybe it's a mini game that you have to do. Or you're just overhearing them talk about something else that's going on. The goal was to create this living WWE world so you feel like you're part of the show.
Well, the coolest thing, in my opinion, is WWE Universe, which is kind of difficult to describe, but pretty much what it is, it's kind of like exhibition with storytelling elements. Now you're going to fight a match, and the game is going to keep track of what's happening, wins, losses. It's going to populate allies and enemies. Tag teams are going to be formed. It's pretty much just building a WWE experience like we haven't had before. It's just solely built around what you're doing and what you're doing in the game.
Of all the new stuff, Universe is probably the most impressive, allowing you to tailor the storyline progressions to suit your own purposes. The massive customization options allow you to create an incredibly faithful WWE, adjusting character allegiances to keep up with the ever-changing storylines. Or you can create the WWE you'd most like to see. You can change who each wrestler's friends are, give them different enemies, and can even make a heel into a face. Overall, Smackdown vs Raw 2011 is impressive, but with the core gameplay largely the same, it feels like the franchise is ticking over rather than reinventing itself. The hardcore fans will certainly be satisfied, and if you haven't bought the last couple of WWE games, you're likewise in for a real treat. However, if you bought Smackdown vs Raw 2010 and only maintain a casual interest, there isn't a huge amount to motivate you to come back for more. Overall then, I wonder how many more of these titles THQ can turn out before fundamentally shaking up the core gameplay, but currently Smackdown vs Raw 2011 still looks set to bring enough to the table to make a punt worth it. So the sun's gone down on LA and on my time with the game. The physics are impressive, there are plenty of new features, and we can't wait to bring you our full review on release in October.
So almost it from us here this week at Game On. Just time to bring you a bit of news on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game reference-heavy summer blockbuster.
Yep, you may have already seen Nat saying
massive
an obscene number of times with the cast.
Massive, 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 massive.
But amazingly, he also managed to knuckle down and ask some relevant questions, like whether Michael Cera and Jason Schwartzman are gamers.
A lot of video game references in the film. You look like gamers. I'm a gamer. Are you video games?
A gay what?
A gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a gamer?
I played video games when I was growing up. I haven't played in a few years though, because they're not around anymore. I don't think.
No,
right?
no,
but,
they seem to have
but
disappeared.
I used to love Nintendo.
Me too.
It was, you know, Super Mario 3.
So, sort of, but not really then.
Yeah, Edgar Wright, though, the director, is, and I did get him to talk about his former gaming addiction.
I definitely, about 10 years ago when I was doing Spaced, I remember like a black hole of productivity of just kind of spending like weeks on end playing Resident Evil. And then I had to get the console out of the house, couldn't take it anymore. To go to GA.
Poor man. Did he say anything else?
Yeah, we talked about it being a celebration of geek culture and fighting.
I guess it's definitely a wish fulfillment film for geeks in the sense that, like, well, there's definitely an idea in this film that if you played a lot of fighting video games like Tekken and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, would you be able to go out and beat the crap out of somebody?
Well, turns out sort of then.
Massive.
Anyway, that's it from us here this week at Game On. We're off to invent our own wrestling personas.
I refuse to oil myself up, though.
Suit yourself. I might. More gaming gristle next week.
The fantasy RPG now has a release date.
Hooray!
It's pre-rendered, so not reflective of how the final game will look, but it does at least give us a rough indication of the character direction.
Just, if you can't be bothered to say all the words, just mould them together.
Yeah.
Meld them, splice them.
You'll be playing as That's It from us for this week. Hang on, weren't those hands in Super Smash Brothers?
No. Sorry.
Hang on, weren't those hands in Super Smash... Sorry. Hang on, weren't those hands in Super Smash Brothers? Hang on, weren't those hands in Super...
I'm going to not look at you.
Hang on, weren't those hands in Super Smash Brothers?
No, I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
I said patent, and I would normally say patent. But I don't think it really matters.
No, they're going to rip us on our accents, whatever. It's time to meet the super fans. But at least they're saying this year's game is not a rehash. The fans are already... Next up on Game On, we've got some exclusive...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Have you been using fake tan?
No, why?
That looks...
What,
why?
No. So, sort of, but not really then.
Yeah, but the director Edgar Wright definitely is, and I did get him to talk about this famous...
I've been long waiting for the interview where he talks about his famous...
I didn't know what I was doing, really. It's going to look like a girly smack.
Forgot what I'm going to say. Ooh. Breaking a table. Table's okay, it's fine. It's fine.